Good morning, class 2. It's your science book, Paramount Science Awareness 2. Lesson number 18 and page number 100. The topic is the moon and the stars. The moon and the stars are basically natural satellites that are visible mostly at night. So let's discuss them in little bit detail. So let's get started. So, first of all, the question arises that what do we see in the sky? We mostly see the sun, the moon, and the stars in the sky. Let's discuss some detail about the moon. The moon is the smallest and the nearest one, but it is much farther than the clouds. The moon does not give out its own light. I know moon look like that it is giving its own light, but no. The moon does not give out its own light. Instead, it shines when the light of the sun falls on it. Now let's talk about the sun. The sun is bigger than the moon and also very far away. It gives us heat and light. Without the sun, the earth would be very cold and dark. We should not be able to live on it without the sun. Have you ever noticed why can't we see at the sun? Because it shines very brightly, as its basic purpose is to give us heat and light. Now let us discuss about the stars. The stars are very hot and bright and very big also. Mostly we see the stars at night. The sun is also a star. Do you know that? No? So let me tell you. The sun is also a star and it is a star that is closest to the earth, while the other stars are very, very far away. It will take thousands of years for a rocket to reach the next nearest star. Here you can see these white little twinkling stars are present in this picture. Here you can see the sun. It's just like a football or a ball shaped like a ball. And here it is a moon and it is also looking like a ball. And here it is our earth and it is also looking like a ball. As we all know that we all human beings and living things lives on earth, and it is very difficult to accept that the earth is a ball because we feel it is flat as we can walk on the earth, but it is not flat. It is a ball shaped planet. Now the question arises why you feel that an earth is a flat, because it is very big ball. But if you fly in an aeroplane in one direction only, you would come back to the place where you started. It will take you about 2 days to fly around the earth. The men who went to the moon saw the earth. Here you can see we can saw the earth from the moon, and it's look like a big round shining ball. Do you know the earth spins around its axis every day, but we cannot feel it that the earth is going round and round. This is because everything on the earth goes around with the earth. The air also moves with the earth. Students, have you ever noticed why moon look different night to night? As we have already discussed, the moon does not really change its shape at all, but the moon has no light of its own. It gets the light by the sun. We see the portion of the moon which is lit by the sun. So, moon does not change its shape, but we see the portion of the moon which is lit by the sun. That's why we feel that moon is changing its shape. So students, now you have better understand that the moon is our nearest neighbor in the sky. The sun is farther away and the stars are very, very far off. The sun is also a stars and stars are hot and bright. The earth is shaped like a ball and the earth spins round and round and the moon gets lit by the sun. So now we will do the back exercise of this chapter. So let's get started. Exercise 1. Mark tick for true and cross for false. A. All stars give out heat and light. So it is very obvious that all stars give out heat and light because we have already discussed that stars are very hot and bright. So it's true. So we mark here tick. B. The sun is the star closest to the earth. So we have already discussed about that. It's true. The sun is a star. It is also very hot and bright and it is closest to the earth. That is why we see the sun very big. So we will mark here tick means true. C. The moon is bigger than the sun. So, now you people tell me, what do you think? Whenever you see on the sky, do you think sun is bigger than moon or moon is bigger than sun? Yes, sun is bigger than the moon. You can also see here and you can also see on the sky that the sun is bigger than the moon. So, the moon is bigger than the sun is false because the sun is bigger than the moon. We will mark here cross. D. The moon gives out its own light. So, we have already discussed about it that moon does not give out its own light. Instead, it shines when the light of the sun falls on it. So, the moon gives out its own light, so it is false because it shines when the sun light falls on it. E. There is life on the earth because of the sun. So, it is really very easy. We have already discussed that sun shines brightly and it gives us heat and light, and without the sun the earth would be very cold and dark. That is why we would not be able to live on the earth without the sun. So there is life on the earth because of the sun, so we will mark here tick means true. 2. Fill in the blanks with the correct answer. So there are a couple of statements here and two options are there and we have to choose the correct one. So A. The earth is dash flat or round. It seems that earth is flat but basically earth is round. So we will mark round and we will mention here round. The earth is round. Here you can also see the earth is like a ball shape, so it is round. B. The earth moves dash in the straight line or round and round. So we have already discussed about it. It is very simple that earth moves or spins round and round. This is because everything on the earth goes round around the earth. So the air also moves with the earth. So B, the earth moves round and round. So we will write here round and round. C, the moon has dash of its own, light or no light. So we have already discussed that moon has no light of its own. So we will mark here no light. So the moon has no light. D, the dash is the nearest to the earth, the sun or the moon. So we have already discussed about it. Moon is the smallest and the nearest natural satellite. D. The moon is the nearest to earth. So we will write here moon. Now we will do the question answers of this chapter. So let's get started. Exercise 1. Answer these questions. Question number 1. Write a note on the moon. So we have to write a little bit detail about the moon. As we have already discussed the whole chapter, the moon is the smallest and the nearest one, but it is much farther than the clouds. The moon does not give out its own light and it shines when the light of the sun falls on it. So we can write it as that the moon is the smallest and the nearest one, and it is present farther than the clouds, and it does not have its own light and shines whenever the sunlight falls on it. So next, question number 2, write a note on the sun. So we have to give little bit detail on the sun. As we have already discussed that the sun is very far away and it is much bigger than the moon and the earth. It gives us heat and light, and without the sun, the earth would be very cold and dark. We would not be able to live on the earth without the sun. So we can write it as that sun is very big and it is very far away from the earth. It basically gives us heat and light, and due to this purpose, it is very essential for the living or our survival on the earth. Question number 3. Write a note on the stars. So we have to give little bit detail on the stars. As we have already discussed that the stars are very hot and bright and very big. Just like the sun is also a star and it is very closest to the earth. The other stars are also very far away that it will take thousands of years for a rocket to reach the next or the nearest star. So in the answers, we can write it as that the stars are very hot, bright, and very big. The sun is also a star that is closest to the earth. It will take thousands of years for a rocket to reach the next stars, and stars are basically stationary. It cannot move its place. Now, question number 4. Why don't we feel the movement of the earth? So, as we have already discussed that the earth spins round and round, and whenever it spins round and round, we never feel any movement. It is because everything on the earth goes around with the earth. Even the air also moves with the earth. So, in the answer, we can write it as we don't feel the movement of the earth because everything go on it goes around with the earth as it moves. Question number 5. Why don't we see full moon for the whole month? So it is very simple. Now you people tell me, why don't we see the full moon? Yes, we don't see the full moon from night to night because we see only the portion of the moon which is lit by the sun. So in the answers, we can write it as it is so because we see the only portion of the moon which is lit up by the sun.